Good morning, Kyoki Baptist. My name is Ian. I am one of the missionaries that you support whenever you put money in the offering plate. And if you're in the 8:30 service right now, it is 10:30 Sunday night for me. And if you're at the 11 o'clock service, it's 1 a.m. Monday morning for me here in Japan. And so in Hiroshima, we are hoping to plant a church. I'm with an organization called Mustard Seed Network, and we seek to evangelize Japan through church planting. Often you hear about evangelism leading to church planting, and we find that in Japan, what works best is if you start with the church plant. They're a group culture, and so when they are rejected by their family because they no longer go to the shrines, the Buddhist shrines, and they no longer bow down at the family shrine in their home, their group will reject them. And as rugged individualist Americans, we can handle that kind of pressure. We say, who cares? But they can't. It's not how they're wired. And so we find that it works best if we have a church that can be their group, that can be their family, when their real family says, becoming a Christian has made you less Japanese. It is a painful thing for them. And so we hope to plant the 7th Mustard Seed Church in Hiroshima. Lord willing, we would like to have our first service April 2nd, is what we're shooting for. Who knows how that will pan out, but we're praying for April 2nd. So. What we found is that by starting with a church, by contextualizing the gospel in a way where they're able to understand it and they're able to hear the gospel with the fewest distractions, we find that if you make the conditions right for them hearing the gospel, that they're very hungry for it. Probably every other Sunday there's a baptism. And we've seen these believers, these new believers, both Japanese and international, because we're not only going to share the gospel with the Japanese, we'll share with anyone in Japan. Japan just happens to be 99% ethnically Japanese. But as we've seen these people grow and mature in their faith, we've seen them invite their friends, we've seen them share with their friends, and we've been encouraged to see people coming to faith as a result of the effort of people that we brought to faith, like getting to the second generation of it there. And it's been really encouraging. And so I think with the right conditions, Japanese people are very receptive to the gospel. But it's such a different culture from ours that if we just go in and do what we think would work over here, there's no guarantee that that'll be effective over there. Hiroshima is a city, if we include the surrounding area, a city of about 2 million people. We know of possibly about 60 healthy churches there. And a church in Japan averages an attendance of about 15 people, which means we're somewhat confident there may be 900-ish healthy Christians in Hiroshima. And you can hear my hesitation in that because we don't know how much of any of that is true. But the point is, it is vastly lost. And the vast majority, well over 90%, have never heard the gospel one time in their heart language. And so we've already started praying for the people that we haven't met yet, that we will meet in the years, decades to come, who will hear the gospel for the first time in a way that they're able to understand it and in a setting where they're able to focus on the actual claims of Jesus that will be presented. It's a great question. Actually, we had a staff meeting with the Hiroshima staff last night, and that question was brought up. And one person on our team has lived there for about a decade, and he's an American. And as everyone was sharing their experiences, he said, not once. He was there when they celebrated the 70-year anniversary of the atomic bomb dropping. And even though he's an American, there was no animosity toward him. There's never been any. I think the big reason is because America didn't start it. America didn't want to be involved in the war. And I think Japanese people recognize that they pulled America into the war. And so as a result, they hate that it happened. But they can't blame America for it. Or at least they don't do it to our faces. I don't believe there's very much anti-American sentiment there. Even though we could see why maybe there would be. Hiroshima is worldwide, it's known as the world's largest proponent of peace. And the reason is because they, along with Nagasaki of course, are tied as far as the cities that have experienced most acutely the consequence of not having peace. I believe it was 120,000 people that died as a result of the atomic bomb in Hiroshima, which is, what's that? That's like 40 9/11s, right? I mean, that's devastating. And so when I was in Hiroshima, the thing that strikes you most oddly is that for the most part, the whole place looks completely normal. Looks like any other city in Japan. It's been 70 years, they've rebuilt beautiful flowing rivers, tall modern buildings. And there's one dome in the middle of the city that is basically right under the epicenter of where the bomb exploded. People think the atomic bomb dropped on the ground and went boom, but it exploded in the air to cause more damage. And it's fenced off, and it stands as a reminder of what happened there. It's a memorial to all the lives that were lost. And all around it, what you see are Japanese people who are advocating for peace. They're all just spreading messages of peace. They all just want the world, to, of course, what's the word? Deproliferate. They want the world to get rid of their nuclear weapons. They just want peace more than anywhere else. The irony of that being that they do not have inner peace. They're advocating for the peace that is between people, between nations, but they don't know the peace that is the peace inside. And so, because they've not met Christ. And so that's why we're going there, is to introduce them to the peace that surpasses all understanding. A few ways that you could pray for us. One is for our team. When we look at why missions efforts fail overseas, I think often the biggest reason isn't persecution, but it's from infighting between the mission teams on the field. And I think Satan loves when that happens. We have a great team, and I think we're going to be great together. But we could definitely use prayer as we're there, surrounded by lostness every day. Pray that we would pursue holiness in our personal lives, that we would prioritize the spiritual disciplines. We're going to be encouraging each other as we're there. But it is a dark country. And so just that people can pray that we would love Jesus more every day. We can't share with others, we can't, what do they say? You can't pour out to others unless you've been poured into. So that we would be pouring into each other with how good God is, so that we're able to share with others well. And just pray for the Japanese folks who have they have no idea what's coming. There are Japanese people out there right now searching for their purpose. They know they haven't found it. Japan is consistently within the top 3 countries worldwide when it comes to suicide rates. Always. And it's not some impoverished country where you're trying to scrape together enough food for your next meal. People in Japan save more per capita than pretty much any other country on earth. They have security as far as physical security, but they're just depressed. They're spiritually dark. Yeah, so pray for the Japanese people that will be at their wits' end and who will run into one of us and come to one of our outreach events, and from there they'll come to a church service one time and they'll hear the good news and they'll say, I didn't even know what this was, but this is what I've been looking for. And God will change their hearts. They'll get baptized. They'll tell their family, hey, this is what we've been looking for. And we're praying that families will be coming to Christ. and that the church will grow and grow in a healthy way and be strengthened. And so I just wanted to say thank you so much for your support. We couldn't be here without you, and we're so thankful for you.